Hi guys, welcome back to our channel and to the conclusion of the pallet shed. Built this a year ago, got the floor down and leveled, got the walls up, got the roof on and sheeted, and ran into a different project that kind of took my focus away from this. So it sat for a year through the summer and the winter, rain and snow, and it ruined the sheeting on the roof, and the shed settled a little bit, not too bad. Uh, but came back to springtime this year and decided that either we need to finish the thing or tear it down because it looks like an eyesore. The roof got ruined, the sheeting got ruined, and the shed settled a little bit, but not too much. So I decided I would rather finish it than tear it down. I started it, I want to finish it. So put a new group of sheeting on, uh, shored up the walls a little bit, which wasn't too big of a deal, and started from where I left off. And I'm glad you guys are here to see it because I was glad to finish it. Um, in the end, it was very satisfying to see it all come together, and I would like to show you guys that process. So thank you for watching, and do me a favor and like the video and subscribe to our channel, and let's proceed. As I said before, I had to replace the sheeting on the roof because the weather ruined it. So starting this year again was basically like starting from scratch. Everything was new. Everything was square again. So I just picked up where I left off. I put the underlayment on the roof for the shingles, and I used the same stuff on the walls because it's cheap, and that was the whole idea behind this shed, was making it as cheap as I could. I can now say that after doing the roof on just this small shed, that I admire every roofer that does this for a living. I'm not a roofer. I've never been a roofer. I don't ever want to be a roofer now after having a small taste of it. Those guys have my full respect. Props to them because roofing sucks. I can sleep soundly knowing that the roof, at least on this, is protected. All the shingles got on. I just used regular asphalt shingles. I had thought about using cedar shingles, but it didn't work out that way. So I got the asphalt shingles down. I got the roof finished, and I am glad about that. Like I said before, I just decided to use this roofing underlayment on the walls and everything too because it's cheap. Uh, Nobody's going to be living in this or staying in it for any extended period of time. So it's going to be watertight as far as I can tell, and this will do the job just fine. I decided to use these cedar cut-off shingles for the outside of the shed. You may have seen a different video I did a while back where I made a coffee table out of these. I still have thousands upon thousands of them, and this was the perfect way to use them and to cut down on cost for the shed. I'm going to show you multiple different views of putting these on around the shed. I don't even know how many we used, thousands of them. And fun fact, every 4 of these represents a clock that we've sold over the years, so you can do the math, that's a lot of clocks. I had to get creative on the peaks of the front and the back. I didn't think at the time when I was putting it up that I needed something to nail all these shingles to because the studs are 16 inches apart. So I just used some cedar fence pickets as backing for the shingles. Seemed to work out pretty well, but it was a pain. You could really see the shed coming together when the fascia boards went on the front. Just putting a million little cutoffs on as shingles, you get kind of blind looking at so many for so long, but when you start breaking it up with the trim, you can really tell what the overall look of the shed's going to be, and I was really happy with how it was going. It took almost 3 full days to put all these shingles on individually. Uh, Doing it by myself was taking way too long. My wife helped me by handing me each and every single shingle so I didn't have to keep standing up and bending down and standing up and bending down. I had huge help on her part. And just not being there, standing there by myself with nothing but my thoughts and a staple gun, keeping me company and helping me just made the time go by really fast. I was finally almost done with all these individual cutoffs. All I had left at this point was to do the soffits on the sides. Also used individual cedar cutoffs for those. Um, really happy about that. Really happy to be done with all the little shingles. Finally moving on to something else in the building process of the shed. Finally getting to the door, which means this thing is coming together. I didn't have any plans written down or any real blueprints for this shed. It was all just in my head, working on it as we went along. So basically, I had to make all this up on the fly. You can see how thick this door is, which is going to factor into the story here in a minute. It's 2x4 framed with 3/8 inch plywood plus cedar trim on the front, barn door looking X frame. I didn't think about any of this when I was building it, so this door was heavy. You can see as all this trim goes on how much it changes the look of the shed. I just can't say how happy I am with the way this thing has turned out. Never would have occurred to me that a big pile of pallets and a few cut off pieces of cedar could turn out so well, but I'm really happy with the way it looks. You remember a minute ago where I told you how the weight of the door was going to factor into the story? Well, that's where we're at now. I don't know exactly how much that door weighed, but it had to be at least 100 pounds, and I'm getting up there in years. Even though I'm a pretty big dude, I'm just not as strong as I used to be. A few years ago, I could have thrown this thing across the yard. Now I can't hardly pick it up, which it sucks getting old, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you don't know that now, you'll know it in the future. I wrestled with this thing and wrestled with it, and I thought about it, and then I wrestled with it some more, and nothing was working. Finally, something dawned on me. I could just pick it up from the bottom and put it in the hole, and what do you know? One thing I forgot about hanging doors is don't walk away from the door without making sure it's in there good. That was almost a disaster. It may not seem like much, but this little shed has a ton of work in it, and over the last year that it's taken me to finish this thing, it's really cool to know that I am down to the last couple things to be done with building this thing, including putting this lock on the door. The last final thing that needs to be built on this shed is the ramp to get the lawnmower in and out, and we can move on to the final steps, which is painting. Went back and forth about what to do with the paint. Cedar's beautiful wood, obviously, so it didn't feel right to paint it. We decided to stain it with this cedar toned semi-transparent stain. It'll look beautiful, and we're going to do the trim black, so you get the best of both worlds, the stain and the paint. I can't tell you how good it feels to see this thing finally coming to an end. It was just sitting there for a year, staring me in the face, and I really felt bad about just leaving it. So I'm glad we got back to it, and I'm glad it's done. I appreciate all you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned because we're going to do another one really soon.